All right, what's going on YouTube? This is Boxingwave, and let's get right into it, man. I woke up about 5 o'clock this morning, just randomly woke up, happened to check Twitter, saw that Twitter was on fire about Tank Davis getting arrested for a domestic violence issue, all right? He caught a battery charge for causing bodily harm against whoever the victim is. It happened in Broward County or down in Florida, Parkland, Florida. I'm not familiar, but this is gonna be the second time he catches a domestic violence charge. I don't know who the victim is. I don't know if it's the same woman that he was involved in his 2020 case, which is still pending. He had that case with the incidents. If you guys saw the video, there's video of it. I saw some of the video back then where, he kind of like yoked up his baby moms and brought her out from the court side of some sort of game or event and then brought her backstage, right? And then that spilled into a whole like little mini brawl or altercation, right? Now I remember watching that video. I don't remember seeing him hit her, but it's the way that he like aggressively grabbed her by, he yoked her up. He grabbed her jacket and pulled her up. He was pissed off at her for something, and it caused a whole little rift between the other people that was there, right? So he has that case, and then he still has, he's set for trial in February, right? Over the hit and run with the Lamborghini, all right? So that trial was coming up in February. And then you have that old domestic violence issue. Well, it's not that old. It's in 2020. It's a couple years old. But you have that. And then now you have this incident where we don't know much about anything. We don't know as far as what's out there. We know it was in Florida. We know he has he actually was arrested, right? We saw the mugshot, and we know what the charge is, all right? But we don't know any details as far as the fight. We don't know any details with who the person is. All right. All we know is that the charge was battery and it was from causing bodily harm. Right. Now, look, as far as his next fight, he has a fight on the 7th of January against Hector Garcia. I believe that's like next Saturday. Right. So he has that fight coming up, and a lot of people feel that the fight is in jeopardy because Rolly Romero, all right, had some sort of sexual assault allegation leading up to his fight with Tank last year, and they rescheduled that fight, right? Or was it the year before? I can't remember, but being that happened, they were able to reschedule their fight with Tank, and Tank ended up fighting him, I don't know, maybe like 6 months later, or I don't remember, right? So people feel that the fight is in jeopardy. Look, we don't know if the fight is in jeopardy because we don't know anything that's going on with this case with Tank. Tank might not even be sitting in jail right now. This is a high profile fighter, obviously. I mean, there's reports everywhere about him being arrested. This is what everybody's talking about. He has high profile lawyers, expensive lawyers, I'm sure. He might not even be in there right now. Okay, so when people are saying that his fight is over or is canceled, and this is another PBC fight that's canceled, I don't even know. We don't know. It could be canceled. It could be. They might cancel the fight, but they might not cancel the fight. The Rolly Romero situation happened right after the press conference. That news came out right after. That was way before the fight was even scheduled. So those are two different scenarios. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know why that fight was canceled because everything was dropped on that situation. But that was really early in the game. So I don't know if the fight is canceled. When the fight is canceled, if the fight is canceled, then I will make another video and follow up about the fight being canceled, and we can go from there. But as far as right now, there's nothing official that's been said from the PBC or from Showtime or any representative of Tank Davis saying that the fight for next week against Hector Garcia is canceled. Okay? There's nothing official yet. It's just people that's saying PBC. I just spoke on this in my very last video. when I went live and we were just talking about the PBC. It's been a lot of PBC talk about their fighters. Jamal Charlo and his injured hand, fights getting canceled. Spence and his injury, his next fight is going to be postponed as well. They were getting ready to announce that. So I understand that a lot of fighters are getting into something which is causing delays in their next fights over on the PBC end. I don't know if Tank's fight is canceled. I don't know that. It hasn't been confirmed. No one knows as of right now if it's been canceled. Like I said, he could be still sitting in jail. All right. I don't know if he's pending to see a judge or looking. I don't know the post bail. I have no idea. All right. But he could be out by now. We have no idea. We just gotta wait and see. All right. I hope his fight next week is not canceled. But look. Let's talk about Tank, man, and these situations with these fighters that just can't seem to get out of their own way. When I first heard this and I saw that he was arrested, I was like, damn, it's sad because this is a fighter that has incredible talent. Regardless of how you feel about his resume, regardless of how you feel about, who he's facing and who he should be facing, fights that we want to see. He's one of my personal favorite fighters to watch. I enjoy watching him. I think he's highly talented and more technical than people give him credit for. Now, of course, I would have loved to see him fight Lomachenko, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Ryan Garcia, all of these fighters that's been looming around the 135 division. I would have loved to see him fight some of these guys, even some of the guys at 140 I named, some of the guys at even 130. Even back then, I wanted to see him fight Tevin Farmer. There's other fighters that I would have loved to see Tank fight, okay? And I think that part of the reason why we didn't get those fights had to do with the PBC and Floyd and Leonard Ellaby and all that. So I get it, right? But I think this guy is an incredible talent. With that being said, he just can't stay out of his own way. He can't stay out of trouble for shit. He got to find something to get involved in. And it makes me think back to Floyd Mayweather when Floyd was trying to get him out of Baltimore, get him out of these streets and bring him and have him live out in Vegas so he can keep a leash on him. Not to be in control of him, but to make sure that this guy stays straightened out. He doesn't have, and I'm not saying not every fighter, especially with these black American fighters, right? Not every one of these fighters need a father figure or someone to straighten them out. But when these fighters are young, all right, when they're young and they're making a lot of money at their younger 20s, they need someone of a good. It might not be their father, right? It could be their coach. It could be their promoter. But I'm talking about anybody. Anybody is just, when you're young and you're living a fast life like that, anybody needs it. Anybody needs somebody to stay on top of them. It happened with Mike Tyson. We know his story. You coming out of these ghettos and you're making it big and you're making a lot of money. A lot of these fighters don't have the discipline. They didn't have the discipline even before leading up to becoming a world champion. And this is why Floyd was trying to take him out of his environment and let him come over to Vegas and live out there for him so he can keep him focused and make him become disciplined. Floyd, he's been through it already. He's been through it, especially with domestic violence. We know that he's been through it already. So if anybody knows, he does. This is why I praise fighters like Devin Haney, because even if you don't think Devin Haney is that good, you say what you want. Oh, he hits like a girl. He doesn't punch. He can't punch. Say what you want about Devin, but he keeps winning. All right, he keeps winning. He's looking good in every fight, and he's not getting to no shit. He's a very disciplined fighter. And I love the fact that his father is in his life, just like other fighters like Robert Guerrero or Sean Porter or whoever. There's plenty of fighters, young fighters that have their father right there throughout their career, right there behind them, straightening them out. It reminds me, and I've said this years ago about discipline. Discipline is so overlooked. Even Lomachenko and his father. Even Lomachenko and his father. There was periods where Lomachenko started taunting his opponent and acting a little, out of character. And his father was there to shut that down. Even something little like that. And it has nothing to do with being arrested. But sometimes these fighters need someone to shut whatever they have down. And it reminds me of me in my life, in my situation, in my upbringing. You need someone to shut that down. Nip that stuff in the butt. Like little things that I was doing early when I was younger and a completely different person, moving up from the Bronx to the suburbs, I was a person that could have went a different direction. Could have went a different direction, but I didn't because I had a father there to shut a lot of shit down. I don't need to go into detail, but what I'm saying is, Tank, when he was with Floyd in the beginning, and when he started winning some of his bigger fights, he always looked at Tank as a hater. He thought that Tank was trying to stop him from doing. No, what would make you think that? What would make you think that Floyd is just trying to ruin your career when he's built your career? And now you're at an age where you feel like you want to be on your own. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But you can't seem to get out of trouble. You just can't seem to get out of trouble. You keep getting caught up in stuff. And I'm not saying he's guilty for the domestic thing. I don't know if he hit the girl from the last incident. I don't know if he was in that Lamborghini when he got caught in the hitting. I'm betting that's what the defense is going for. That he wasn't, you can't prove that he was in that car when that accident happened. I'm sure that's what they're going for. How can you prove that Tank was in that car? So we don't know if he was in that car. We don't know anything about this incident. We just know that he got arrested. All I know is that it's just too many coincidences. Because there's a long list of fighters that's clean cut and they're not getting into anything. Yet there's you that just somehow just keep getting involved in shit. So you got to take some accountability there. Something got to change in your life. The people you're around, the women that you're dealing with, I don't know what it is, but something needs to change in your life, bro. You got to take some sort of accountability in this. And then when it comes to this domestic stuff, it's either one or two things. It's either Tank definitely has an issue, a problem. He has a problem. There's some kind of problem there. So there's no dismissing that. I'm not even going to try to sugarcoat it. I don't know what the problem is, but there's a problem with Tank and these domestic issues. And when I say that, I mean there's one or two things. It's either he can't control himself. He doesn't have enough self-control to not put his hands on women, or maybe he's just a straight monster out there, and whenever he gets emotional, he gets physical. Maybe that's it. Or B, he's being with somebody, he keeps dealing with somebody that's provoking him and making him do these things. Maybe she's the one that's doing physical and mental abuse on him, and he's attacking her for it, or he's responding and she's going to the police. I have no idea. I don't know what's going on in that household, but all I know is that he has a domestic issue and he cannot control it. And listen, no matter what, and I thought about this earlier, when it comes to domestic violence, one thing about somebody that is in your household, whether it's your lady, your partner, man or woman, whether it's your partner or whether when it comes to family, domestic violence, when it comes to domestic related issues, your partner, your spouse, or your family, nobody can push your buttons. No fighter can push your buttons more or easier than the people that are in your home. It doesn't matter how many tweets Ryan Garcia say to attack Tank Davis. There's nothing Ryan can say that can push the buttons like your partner in your household. whatever's going on in there in that house, because I don't know, and I want to sit here and act like I know, and I don't want to call it. All I know is that it keeps involving the police, and that man needs to either move himself outside of that situation. If it is the same woman, he needs to move himself outside of it. Just understand that they have a child together, but whatever's going on, you need to move on because you clearly have too much to lose. And even if it's not him, let's say she is strictly a victim out of all of this, and this dude is just a monster inside of the house. If that's the case, then he needs to get some kind of help before he ruins his career and ends up in jail, because you got that trial coming up. And you go to trial and you lose in trial, you're going to have to do some time. I don't know how much time, but a hit and run that where somebody is like, there's like some serious injuries, it sounds pretty bad. You're probably going to end up doing some time, especially because you didn't plead on it and you just kind of, you're saying you're not guilty. So with that being said, I don't know what it will take for this guy to get it together, but for someone that came from where you came from, he's going to have to, part of moving on and saying that I don't want to be with Floyd, I want to be my own man, I don't want to be underneath anybody else. Part of that is making the right decisions for yourself and removing yourself from any situation that's going to cause you trouble. There's regular people, normal people. I don't want to say regular, but you guys know what I mean. There are non-celebrity people like myself and others that are very disciplined. There are people that like to try to push your buttons and attack you, physically, mentally, verbally, whatever. They like to push you to points where they want to see you rattle. They want to get you upset because usually they're unhappy with themselves. You got to find a way to have enough discipline to avoid that kind of drama. Part of you being your own man and going into being a 30-year-old man, going into that next, that next decade in your life is being grown and removing yourself from these childlike situations. It's just like you have way too much to lose. You are making millions. You are boxing. You are one of boxing's biggest stars, especially here in America. You are one of those stars. So with that being said, you need to remove yourself from any situation that's getting you in trouble. If it's your partner, if it's your family, if it's where you live, you got to be somewhere where you can stay focused. You are a professional boxer. You should be training and doing all of that full time because you make millions. You don't have a day job. You do this full time. So I get really pissed off when I see guys that's just ruining their opportunity because you have nothing else. There's some fighters that they go broke and they have nothing. They made millions in their career and they have nothing else after boxing. Once they start taking too many hits and once they start getting damaged mentally and just physically, they just, they become brain dead and they can't find another way to make money. They start becoming punch drunk and they don't have money invested into nothing. They don't have no money saved. They have nothing and they become broke. And they start becoming that guy talking about what they used to be, but they're not that anymore because they're broke. If you keep getting involved and caught up into these domestic or crime-related situations where you gotta keep paying these high-priced lawyers to protect you, you're not gonna have anything. You're not gonna have, it's bad enough we spending money on Lambos and jewelry and women and you live in a high life. You're already blowing money on that. The last thing you need to do is keep blowing money on these lawyers. That's costing you more than anything, I'm sure. Just to get you out. And sometimes they can't even protect you and get you out. Like, get your shit together. I'm just going to change the title to this and just go and just say that this is a rant because I haven't ranted on YouTube in a while. It's been a while. But I just get so angry when these fighters do this and they don't remove themselves, even if it's your child's mother, if you guys can't come to some kind of agreement for your child to work, or if you gotta be that father where you can't communicate with her, but you can just if you have to become that person where you gotta let the courts make a decision on when you have to meet with her in order to get your child, your son or your daughter from her. If this is her, mind you, I don't even know if this is her. This could be a completely different woman. I don't know who this is. But if this is your child's mother again, yo, there's going to be a point where you just going to have to agree on a time and a day to meet with her, to have your kid, and to return her on a time and date that you agreed on. No real interactions. Stop being with her. It just you gotta have to do it. If she's getting you to a point where you acting out like this, something needs to change, bro. Something needs to change. It's just not working. Because this is gonna ruin, this domestic stuff is gonna ruin your life. It's gonna ruin your life. And if this is somebody else, then you clearly just have a problem and you just don't know how to keep your hands off. Like, you get emotional and you start getting physical. If that's the case, you gotta, I don't know, man. I don't know. You gotta remove yourself from people that is pushing you to that point, and you gotta get some help, man, because you just can't control yourself. All right. I don't know what it is. We just gotta have to wait and see. I'll follow up with this news as soon as we find out if the fight is going on. But I'm not gonna make several videos on this. You know, I'll talk about it if we know the fight is going on for sure. I believe the fight is probably gonna still go on though, unless, you know, again, unless that this situation is gonna affect his fight, directly affect it. Directly. I mean, mentally, it could affect it. And that's another problem. Now fighters are going to be pushing your buttons and talking about, you're gonna have fighters at this press conferences pushing your buttons and hitting those soft spots, like they try to do with Floyd. Same thing with Floyd. People are going to be pushing the domestic issue on you now and trying to get you rattled. And then now you're going to go in a fight fighting reckless because you're pissed off. Now you forcing a knockout. He got to have some kind of self-control, man. I don't know where he's going to get that from. I don't know if he needs therapy or something, but he needs something. And that's why Floyd was trying to protect him. For the people that come at Floyd for being some sort of hater, Floyd was trying to protect him by letting him go out to Vegas full time so he wouldn't be out here in these streets. Say what you want about Floyd, but a guy that didn't drink or smoke at all and stay physically fit at all times is someone that's serious about his career. Yes, he was involved in a domestic violence incident. Yes, he was. All right. But outside of that, dude was squeaky clean. And many other fighters who are not as talented as Tank, they go far in their career. You know why? Because they were squeaky clean. Boxing was a priority to them, not like a side hustle. And that's a problem with a lot of these fighters, these young fighters. They getting money because boxing is good. Boxing is good. I say that about Mikey, and Mikey does this. Mikey Garcia. I say that about Mikey all the time. He's so good that he can just dip in and dip out when he wants to, because he's so good. He can make a lot of money. But if he was fully focused on boxing and he wanted to be a boxer and desired to be a boxer all the way through his career, top tier boxer, he would have been in better shape. He would have been even better than what he was. He was good. He was very good. He's arguably, you can debate, and I've made a video on this, you can debate whether or not he is a Hall of Famer. You can make a debate. You can make a strong case. But there's fighters that would have been better if they treat this sport like a full-time job and stayed fit all year round. Maybe gain a few pounds, but guys like Sean Porter was able to fight at a a top tier level for his whole career. Why? Because even though he wasn't the most talented, he was disciplined. He was disciplined. That's what made him a top tier welterweight. He was disciplined. No one clearly beat him. Well, yeah, well, Kell Brook did, and of course, Bud did. But you guys get what I'm saying. All right, I don't want to go in too long on this. As soon as we find out what's up with Tank's situation, you know, I'll update you with that. But I don't know, man. I wish this kid just could just straighten out. And when it comes to Ryan Garcia, I told you guys before, if you don't know, I don't think that fight is happening right now. I just don't think it's going to happen. You know, I just don't believe it's going to happen. And this is part of the reason why Ryan should have had a tune-up. He should have took that fight. What are you waiting? You sitting out waiting for? You just wait. You just gonna sit out and wait and not fight? And you're gonna wait for one person, and then you're gonna drain yourself down to 136 when you haven't been there since the beginning of 2021? You haven't fought at 135 since January. It's been 2 years. You're gonna try to drain yourself for Tank and skip out on a tune-up? And you might not even fight this guy? So you're saying inactive for what exactly? You never stay inactive for another opponent. At the very least, fight a tune-up a guy that's really not that good to keep you sharp. It doesn't even have to be the guy that has got the same style. It's just to keep you sharp. Keep you in shape. I don't think that fight happens. I don't know what the reason is, but I don't think that fight happens. But if he doesn't beat this trial next or February, the fight will definitely not happen, because you'll probably have to do time. Right? I wish the best for Tank. I really like him. I just want him to get his shit together, man. That's all. Him and a lot of these other fighters that seem to keep getting in trouble. You know, I was just like this with AB for years, making videos about him. Other fighters, guys like Billy Joe Saunders, guys like whoever that just seems to just can't stop getting in trouble. Hope he gets his shit together. All right, I'm out of here. Peace.